What's going on, guys? Welcome to a random video on this channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Apple event where they're talking about some of their new products and, of course, some of the new things going on with iOS. Now, let me just start off this way. I don't know if you guys realize this. There's a lot of new subscribers on this channel. Again, I appreciate all the new subscribers and all the views and you guys participating in the conversations. Really, I appreciate it because it makes this channel that much more interesting. Now, as far as this Apple event, it started off with Nintendo presenting Super Mario Run, which is going to be a new game for iOS that's going to come out before the holidays this year. Now, another thing about this is that there's no in-app purchases. So I found this to probably be one of the most interesting things in the event because it's Mario, it's Nintendo, it's an application that you can use, no in-app purchases. So I really like the way that Nintendo went about this. From what it looks like a really fun game. So that's something that you can check out. Also, you can compete against others and you're really just going for a high score, and then you can see how you do against other people, including your friends or anyone else around the world. They have something called Toad Rally where you can actually collect, the little mushroom guys. So I thought it was an interesting game. It also looks like a lot of fun. Now, as far as what everybody is really interested in, of course, the iPhone, and not only that, these AirPods. Let's start off with the smartwatch, because what I found interesting about the situation with Apple, they like to talk about their sales and how many people purchase these things. But with the smartwatch in particular, if you watch the event, or if you're going to watch the event, you're going to notice that they mention nothing about the sales with the smartwatch. What that tells me again is that these smartwatches are not that popular with everybody around the world. A lot of people out there looking for a stylish watch, they're going to go for the watches that they're familiar with the designers that they like. And that just has to do with the world of fashion and design. So I can understand why these watches are not selling that much in that way. Now, what we had here in this event, though, was that they want to show people this watch from Nike. Tim Cook himself was saying that they're trying to focus on runners, and it makes sense. Because if you're going to try to sell a product with style, you have to be a brand and a company that really gets style and design. And we're talking about a fashion world that is exclusive in a lot of different ways. I'm not saying that Apple products can't be exclusive in their own right, because a lot of people like to talk about these Apple products like they're exclusive products or premium. So I get all of that. But in this situation with the Nike watch, I did think it was interesting because a lot of runners and athletes are going to appreciate that because they want to calculate the distances that they're running. They want to also calculate calories and all sorts of stuff. So it was pretty interesting from that point of view. Now, they also presented something about Pokemon Go, and there's going to be an app developed for the smartwatch. So you'll be on the lookout for that for you Pokemon Go fans. These new smartwatches, what they're referring to as the Series 2, they have better GPU and better graphics and also a better screen. And then, of course, as they were really proud to announce, they're waterproof. So you can actually go into a pool with one of these watches. I thought that was pretty cool. And that's as much as 50 meters of water. So you can't go, into the deep ocean with a smartwatch, but you can go 50 meters. Supposedly, the watch is protected from water. And these Series 2 watches are going to be available for pre-order September 9th, and then for actual sale September 16th. So it's at a price of $369, which was a pretty good price. It's not that expensive for a smartwatch. We're talking about a watch that does have a lot of capabilities. And then also with the watch from Nike, that's going to be available for same price later in October. So again, these are some interesting watches. I think they look unique. If you're interested in a smartwatch, I would pay attention to what Apple's doing because they have great partnerships with a lot of different companies, including Nike. Now, as far as the iPhone, everybody wanted to know about this iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus because people always want to know about the newest iPhone. Now, what they did was try to start by talking about iOS 10 and all of these advancements. It looks more the same from Apple as before. And I'm not saying that to trash Apple. It still looks like they're doing more of the same from the design and also the way they're trying to sell the phone. What I also found interesting, though, was that they weren't talking about Android. So that was pretty cool, Apple, because as an Android fan, I appreciate that you're just focusing on your own products and being honest about it. Because from what I see here, your product is really targeted to the people that are interested in Apple products, which I get. At the same time, it doesn't look like what you guys are doing with the iPhone is enough to convince a lot of people that use Android to switch over to iOS and use an iPhone. I get that people are going to, because that's just the nature of the market, but I don't think it's going to get that many more people to be convinced to get an iPhone, including someone like myself who is open to the idea of getting an iPhone. Almost everyone I know uses an iPhone these days. So as far as I'm concerned, when I look at the iPhone 7, even though they start talking about the camera, for the most part, this seems like a whole presentation about the camera or cameras. This is the thing. If we want to be honest about this, I actually thought they were going to remove the physical button, but apparently they didn't remove the button. That's okay though, because you see the iPhone and you see the other iPhones, the previous generations, and you say, what is Apple trying to do? Well, for people who don't like change, especially with their phone, then they're going to appreciate this. But for other people that are looking for something new, such as myself, I would expect something different, at least from my point of view. Now, as far as the price point, it's competitive, and we're talking about getting one of these phones off contract. The iPhone 7 starts at $649, iPhone 7 Plus starts at $769. Both are going to be available for pre-order September 9th, and they ship out, they say, September 16th. Now, we're also talking about the reason why they create two cameras for the iPhone 7 Plus is because what they wanted to give users was the capability of having wide angle and also a telephoto lens optical zoom. So yes, these are interesting things when you want to use a newer kind of camera for your phone, especially if you're upgrading your iPhone. But again, I talk about this situation of what exactly are you selling. They were making a big deal about the colors because it's a new kind of black or a steel finish to the iPhone. Okay, that's interesting. But again, that's looking like the other phones on the market. So I have to be honest about this. Just from what I saw about the iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus, it's got better GPU, it's got a better chip and a screen. Yes, it's got these better things. And it also has better speakers. 2 of them, by the way. The technology is interesting. The innovations are pretty cool because you're making the phone better. So if anyone questions anything about the iPhone, they can just say, look at all these people who've purchased the iPhone already, and let's talk about the iPhone sales here because they mentioned in their presentation over 1 billion. So they feel okay with selling the phone like this. And that's okay for them. But for someone like myself, who never purchased an iPhone for myself, I look at this iPhone and I say it's more the same, or looks more the same. It might have a nice looking design, which I have to say, the iPhone looks nice. It looks pretty cool. So that's the way I look at the iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus. I'm not trying to trash on Apple. For people that don't know, if you just subscribe to my channel, I switched from a PC to a Mac last year, and I'm impressed with a Mac because I think it's better than a PC. When I'm doing my work on the computer, I see the platform is not interfering with my work. So that's something I enjoy with a Mac, and I think the computer runs great. So I'm not trying to tell people don't go buy an iPhone. If you're interested in an iPhone and you're an iPhone fan or an Apple fan, this phone could make sense for you, either the iPhone 7 or 7 Plus. For myself, I would choose the iPhone 7 Plus. Realistically, could I purchase an iPhone 7 Plus? I have to see what's going on with Google. I want to see these new phones. When they announce their new phones, if these phones are not impressive to me, I would consider an iPhone 7 Plus. But right now, I'm thinking I would like to see something incredible from Google that would actually be something that I would want to purchase so I can upgrade my phone. Right now, I have a Nexus 6, and this Nexus 6 is due for an upgrade. So, that being said, they also announced the AirPods. AirPods are these wireless earpods. I don't know if you guys ever used earpods. Let me know in the comments actually what kind of headphones you use, because in this situation with my headphones, I use these wireless earpods from Sony, and it was only like $25 or $30, and they're pretty good. They actually have this square looking device where it's actually handling the Bluetooth, and then you plug in the headphones, so you can actually use different kind of headphones. But the earpods that I use, they kind of have a short wire, and you can just plug it in and you can actually clip it onto your shirt or whatever, and it actually is convenient. And what's interesting to me about these AirPods is that you can actually charge them in the case. So this charging case can actually last 25 hours, and you're going to get 5 hours with the AirPods before you have to charge them again. The price point is pretty good, $159, and I have to say for wireless AirPods, something like this, even though I spent $30 for what I have because it has a wire, these are completely wireless. But I'm not sure what I think about the design, because they do remind me of a Q-tip. I'm not even kidding about that. That's what they remind me of. And I know there's people out there that wear earrings. That's what it reminds me also, because if you lose one of these AirPods, I don't know how good that's going to be when you go back to the Apple store and say, hey, I lost one of my AirPods. I'm not even sure if they would help you. Maybe they would, maybe they won't. I don't know. Maybe Apple Care protects you from something like that, because I could see a lot of situations where someone might lose one AirPod. I can also see the situation where the people out there are going to be walking around with one AirPod because they're like, you know what? I spent all this money on it. I might as well get my value and just use one. I don't know how this is all going to work out for the AirPods, but again, it's an interesting device. They're going to be available late October, and I think the price is okay. I'm not going to say that you should spend $150 on AirPods if you don't really care about listening to audio through your phone or another device that has Bluetooth. If I like the design of them, I would look at them as an option for wireless earpods. If you're not interested in it and you don't like the design of it, or you're just not interested in having wireless earpods, then it's something that you won't look at at all. But the AirPods are something interesting to me. Now, as far as anything else with this event, I do think that Apple is doing some good things out there. I noticed some talk about what they were doing with the iPhone, of course, and also some of the applications and the platform itself with iOS 10. I'm not even going to bother talking about Windows right now, but you guys know what I mean. And by the way, I really did think it was interesting they were talking about waterproof with that Apple Watch, because the Series 2 has this component inside of it where the speakers actually push out the water. So there's a way they can work on this technology to continuously innovate. And I think there's more innovation that's needed with this iPhone. But we have to say it's time to really change that design of the iPhone, because they even removed the headphone jack and now you can use a lightning cable, which is interesting. But we're talking about creating a phone that has a unique design that's going to captivate people and make them interested in changing a platform, say from Android to iOS. And again, if I see phones out there that are not impressive to me, including if Google creates phones that I don't like, then I'm going to look at Apple and I'm going to compare the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus to the phones that Google creates. But honestly, again, I'm going to say that I'm going to compare the iPhone 7 Plus because that's a phone with a larger screen. But after seeing this event, I think at certain points in times in the event, it was kind of boring. No offense to Apple. I think a lot of the talk about having the most unique materials that you're working with, even talking about ceramic, like it was this foreign material that we've never seen before. No, people are fully aware of what ceramic is. I don't know. I just thought it was weird that they were talking like that. But that's how they like to promote their products. As far as any of these products being the most interesting, I think the AirPods, I think the iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus weren't all that interesting because it was kind of predictable. So I'm not trashing it. I think the design is cool. I think the phones look nice. The talk about premium products from Apple, it is justified in ways because you have these nice looking products and the price point is like a luxury item or a premium item. But at the same time, there's other companies out there doing amazing things also. And what's funny about this is when they talked about the AirPods, they were acting like no one else ever created these wireless earpods. But the fact is, other companies out there have been doing this already. Have they done it to the best of their abilities like Apple? Well, Apple is known for getting involved in the market and then making the products better because they notice the mistakes that other companies make. So in the situation with the AirPods, I can think that it's going to be upgrades with these AirPods, and you're going to notice that Apple's doing some cool things with audio and music because Apple has a history, as they said, even with the iPod, where they're involved with music, because Apple does get involved with some creative stuff and it's pretty cool and interesting. So that's what I think about this Apple event. I would like to know what you guys think about any of these products. Would you purchase an iPhone 7 or 7 Plus? I would really like to know that in the comments. And of course, let me know what you thought about the AirPods. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.